Today, we will bring back to life one of the most breathtaking wonders of the ancient world. Join me as we walk through time, from the ruins that remain to the magnificent Temple of Artemis, standing in its full glory as it did over 2,000 years ago. We begin our journey in modern-day Turkey, in the quiet town of Selçuk. Before you lies a grassy field, dotted with fragments of marble columns, scattered stones, and a single standing pillar reaching toward the sky. At first glance, it feels unremarkable, just another set of ruins among many across the Mediterranean. But this place once held a structure so magnificent that it was named one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus. 2,000 years ago, Ephesus was one of the greatest cities in the ancient world. It was a bustling port city, a crossroads of cultures, wealth, and power. And at its heart stood the temple, not just a place of worship, but a symbol of divine grandeur and human ambition. Imagine a building so large, so dazzling, that ancient travelers wrote of it with awe, saying, "I have seen the walls of Babylon and the statue of Zeus, but when I saw the Temple of Artemis, the others lost their glory." As you take your first steps forward, the world around you begins to change. The scattered stones lift from the ground, rising into place. The lone pillar multiplies into rows upon rows of towering marble columns. The grassy field transforms into paved courtyards bustling with life. You are no longer in the present. You are walking into the golden age of Ephesus, 350 BCE. The temple stretches before you, colossal in scale. It is nearly 400 feet long and 200 feet wide, larger than a modern football field. Its 127 gleaming marble columns, each over 60 feet tall, rise like a forest of stone. The roof is covered with intricately carved pediments, painted in vibrant reds, blues, and golds. Sunlight reflects off polished marble, creating a shimmering glow that can be seen for miles by ships approaching the harbor. You walk through the outer courtyard, surrounded by merchants and pilgrims. Stalls line the pathways, selling offerings, small statues of Artemis, incense, fine cloths, and jewelry crafted from silver and gold. Pilgrims from across the ancient world, Greece, Persia, Egypt, mingle here, speaking dozens of languages, all drawn by devotion to the goddess and the temple's reputation as a center of culture and wealth. As you ascend the grand staircase, the sheer scale of the entrance takes your breath away. Priests in flowing white robes stand at the top, holding sacred torches. Behind them, massive bronze doors open slowly, revealing the inner sanctum. You step inside, and the sounds of the bustling marketplace fade into a sacred hush. The inner hall is vast and filled with smoke from burning incense. The air is thick with the smell of myrrh and frankincense. At the center, towering above all, stands the great statue of Artemis. She is unlike the Greek statues of gods you may know. Here, Artemis is the protector of fertility and nature, adorned with rows of symbolic shapes representing life and abundance. Her figure is gilded in gold and silver, encrusted with precious stones, glowing in the torchlight. Priests and priestesses move gracefully through the hall, performing rituals and prayers. Chants echo softly against the marble walls. The atmosphere is both serene and overwhelming, a perfect union of human artistry and divine reverence. Ephesus itself thrives around the temple. As you step back outside, the city's streets stretch before you. Paved roads lined with shops, homes, and fountains. Ships dock at the harbor, unloading goods from across the Mediterranean. spices from the east, wines from Greece, exotic animals from Africa. The temple is not just a religious center, it is the beating heart of a global network of trade and culture. But as magnificent as the Temple of Artemis was, its glory would not last forever. History, like the tide, rises and falls, and even the grandest monuments can be brought low by time and human ambition. As you continue walking along the marble steps, the vibrant marketplace around you begins to dim. The voices of pilgrims fade into silence, replaced by the distant sound of marching feet and shouts of anger. It is now 356 BCE, and a man named Herostratus will commit a crime that will echo through the centuries. On this fateful night, flames erupt within the temple's wooden roof. Columns glow red from the intense heat as smoke billows into the sky. People scream and flee in terror, clutching their sacred statues and possessions. The once glorious temple collapses in a storm of fire and ash. Why would anyone do such a thing? Herostratus confessed. He burned the temple simply to make his name immortal. The city fathers decreed that his name should never be spoken again. Yet here we are, still telling his story, proof of the temple's power over human imagination. But Artemis's worshippers would not allow their goddess's house to lie in ruins. Within a generation, Ephesus rebuilt the temple, even grander than before. The columns rose higher, the decorations richer, the statue of Artemis restored to her sacred place. For centuries, the temple thrived once more, hosting pilgrims, festivals, and rituals that bound the city together. As you walk through the restored temple, life returns to the city. Ships unload goods from every corner of the known world. The sacred courtyard bustles with activity. Priests leading processions, merchants calling out to customers, dancers performing for festival crowds. It feels as though the temple's glory is eternal. But nothing is truly eternal. The scene begins to darken again. Centuries pass in a blur of shadows and light as new empires rise and fall. Ephesus becomes part of the Roman Empire, and later, a stronghold of early Christianity. The temple, once dedicated to Artemis, now stands as a relic of an old faith. Then comes 262 CE. An army of raiders, the Goths, sweeps down from the north. They burn and plunder the temple, smashing statues, tearing down columns. The once proud sanctuary is left in ruins once more, its treasures stolen, its sacred fires extinguished. You stand amidst the wreckage. Smoke curls from shattered marble. The chants of worship have been replaced by silence and the distant cries of survivors. For a brief moment, it feels as though the heart of the city has stopped beating. Ephesus itself begins to decline. The harbor silts up, cutting off trade. Earthquakes shake the region, toppling what remains of the temple. By the time Christianity becomes dominant, Artemis's worship fades into memory. Stones from the temple are taken and reused to build churches, houses, and even other monuments. Piece by piece, the wonder disappears, until only a few scattered fragments remain. The world moves on. The temple that once rivaled the pyramids and the Colossus of Rhodes is now little more than a story in the pages of history. Travelers in later centuries arrive, expecting to see greatness, only to find silence. And now, you return to the present. The bustling, ancient city fades around you. The crowds vanish. The towering columns crumble and sink back into the earth. In their place stand only a few broken stones, and a single lonely pillar, reaching skyward in defiance of time. You walk slowly through the quiet archaeological site. Tourists take photographs. A few guides speak softly, trying to help visitors imagine the temple that once stood here. But for most, it is difficult to picture such majesty from so little. As you pause and turn back, the sun sets over the ruins. For a fleeting moment, you can almost see the temple rise again in your mind's eye, its marble glowing, its worshippers singing, its fires blazing high to guide travelers home. It is a vision of what was and what has been lost. The Temple of Artemis reminds us that greatness is fragile. Civilizations rise, flourish, and fall, leaving behind only whispers and stones. But by remembering, by telling their stories, we keep them alive. Today, the ruins of Ephesus are protected as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Millions visit each year, standing where pilgrims once walked, gazing up at the single surviving column and imagining the wonder that once was. As you take your final steps out of the site, one truth lingers. Though the temple itself has vanished, its legacy endures. Not only in history books, but in the collective imagination of all who dream of what humanity can build and what it can lose.